never ask that question until after I've done it.
That's a bumper I don't get to use very much, but last time I used that was for fan question and answer show that we did a while ago. And since this is kind of question and answer, I decided to break it out again this week. This week, we're doing a really fun little game with our Discord friends. If you're not in Discord, this is a great reason to be in our Discord server. It's totally free, and this idea came up like literally last night, Josh. We got tagged in, actually Josh's wife Brittany tagged us in a post on Instagram with a Star Wars this or that, and I think it was dinner time last night, and I texted you and I was like, hey, let's do this with Discord tomorrow for the podcast. And
challenge accepted. To be honest with you, Adam, I had no idea what we were going to talk about on this show until that came through. So
and I saw that and I was like, thank you, Brittany.
Yes, thank you to my wife. Just jumping in there in the nick of time.
Saved the show this week. So we opened this up to anyone on Discord that wanted to jump in, and right now we've got Nicole. She's been on the show before. Peace, Love, Star Wars on Twitter. Say hi, Nicole.
Hey, everybody.
We've also got Sean, MRC Tech, who is actually not MRC Tech anymore. You've changed it over to another Star Wars podcast.
You're listening to another Star Wars podcast brought to you by Extra Techie. What a ridiculous name, and I love everything about it. We rebranded in 2021 because I thought the old name was boring, and I'm trying to separate out my tech support business, gotcha. MRC Tech, from my content creation, digital nonsense, making stupid Instagram reels and other stuff to Extra
Twitter fleets.
Because we're so extra. Thank you.
Nice. Love it. We've also got... I got written in answers from Megan Rickards from an autistic point of view blog. Megan is working tonight. She couldn't join us, so she did write in some answers. And Josh also has some answers from Brittany, who is not able to join us tonight either. So we're going to go around round table and just kind of do a Star Wars this or that. We've got, I don't even know how many questions we ended up with, because we had, what was there, like 10 on that thing, and then we added a few lightning round questions. But yeah, we've got a little over a dozen questions that we're just going to kind of go round table and get to. Maybe some have a couple extra choices in there. But yeah, we're just going to kind of total these up at the end then, and we're going to see who takes it. What do you guys think? You ready to go?
Rock and roll.
Let's go.
All right. First one, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
So who goes first? I go first.
Josh, actually, you're getting some buzzing. If you want to, I don't know if you have to reset your cable again or something.
Maybe. Game.
Say it again.
Any better there or no?
Yeah, better there. Yep.
Still bad?
No,
better?
That's good. Yeah,
okay.
Better. Yeah, better.
Okay.
All right. First one, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. Nicole, let's start with you.
Oh, sure. Put me on the spot. I'm going to have to say Qui-Gon. We only had him for a very short time, but there's something peaceful and calm about him, maybe because we didn't get a lot of his backstory, but there's something about Qui-Gon. I'm going to go with Qui-Gon. Very wise. I'm going to go with him.
I like it. Sean is our other guest with us tonight.
Thank
Obi-Wan,
you. I'm going to go
Qui-Gon.
with Qui-Gon as well.
Nice.
And the reason being is that we do have a little backstory with Master and Apprentice. I think he's a character. He's a character that we didn't get a lot of, but we want more of. And that's a good thing about a character, right? That's a great thing about a character. That's all I'll say. Qui-Gon, let's go.
Awesome. Josh?
Well, first of all, I'll share Brittany's with you guys,
Yes.
and she went with Obi-Wan, and I think I'm also gonna have to go with my wife on this one and say Obi-Wan. He's one of my favorite characters in the prequels and original trilogy. So yeah, I just love Obi-Wan. He's got a great name. He trained Luke pretty well. So Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I will give you guys Megan's answer. Before I go, Megan said she's going to go Qui-Gon. She says he thinks for himself, doesn't always follow the rules of the council, so it kind of does his own thing. And I'm going to go with Obi-Wan. Since day one, Obi-Wan for me has been, he was the Jedi, back in the day, A New Hope, and kind of first idea of what a Jedi would look like, and then through the prequels with Ewan McGregor, everything that we got in the Clone Wars, the stuff we're going to get more with Ewan McGregor again. I love Obi-Wan. He might be my favorite character of the entire series. Now, that's tough because Qui-Gon is also, one of my top 5 Jedi. But Obi-Wan for me has to take it. So next round, Kylo Ren and Darth Maul. Josh, why don't you start us off?
Okay, so I was ready for this one.
Yeah.
And I think Darth Maul is very cool looking character. I'm just thinking about Darth Maul in the film, The Phantom Menace versus Kylo Ren of the films. I'm not thinking about Rebels or Clone Wars or anything like that. And I have to go with Kylo Ren because I think Kylo Ren is one of the more interesting villains in Star Wars. Very dynamic character. There's a lot of layers there to Kylo Ren and Ben Solo, and I love the this might be controversial, but I love the crossguard lightsaber. So, cool
Is that
stuff.
controversial? I didn't know that.
I think
It is a little bit.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Certain
Okay.
corners of Twitter, but
Well,
I
mean,
comes with the
You
territory.
mean the outer rim? Is that where?
Yeah, the outer rim of Twitter.
The outer rim of Twitter.
I like that. Nice.
Brittany went with Darth Maul in this one, so
Very cool. How about Sean?
Yeah, complete opposite to like the Qui-Gon argument. I couldn't care, like going off of Josh's like movies only like kind of thing. You didn't really care if he survived. I didn't care if he survived. So like when he was done, and you're like, cool character, but he's gone. So that's fine with me. Therefore, being as Kylo is a complex character written for the 21st century, we will go with Kylo Ren.
Nice. I like it. Nicole?
I'm with you guys. Maul is an awesome villain. Don't get me wrong, but I have a heart for Kylo Ren and Ben Solo. And so it's got to be Kylo Ren. Again, like you're saying, many, many layers. We really could have like literally what we would have if we could have a movie of a young Ben Solo just to kind of bridge that gap. But it's Kylo Ren all the way.
I'd love to see that.
Well, we got him in ball form with blue butterflies, so that counts, right? Star Wars kids.
Right.
We're going to go there, huh?
Here we go. We're going there.
Off the rails already. This is the second question.
That's right. Sorry. I apologize. I'm just part of another Star Wars podcast.
I love it.
This is what we do.
Right. Yep. Megan says Darth Maul because of that Clone Wars hallway scene. Unlike Vader, he doesn't even need a lightsaber to accomplish the same effect. What is it with hallway scenes, by the way?
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah,
I'm going Darth Maul. I can't ignore the stuff that came up in Clone Wars and then Rebels again. He became such a deep character. Season 7 of the Clone Wars just kind of was like tipping point for me between cool character and amazing character. Because seeing his desire to dethrone Palpatine, that's who he's going after as well. It was insane. That for me was incredible. That last duel with him and Obi-Wan on Tatooine in Rebels, just beautiful moment. For me, Darth Maul. I have to go with Darth Maul.
Certainly can't argue with that. So
Okay, and third round is Han versus Lando. And I'll start out this time with Megan. Megan went with Han because we get more time with him, and he's just a fun scoundrel. Also, chances are he's the male version of me if I was a scoundrel. Cool. So how about let's go with Josh. I don't think I started with you last. Yeah, I did start with you last time. But hey, I already said your name, so it's Josh's turn.
Why not? Well, actually, we'll start with Brittany since we started with me before. Brittany went with Han, and man, I have a hard time not picking Han here. I do love the Lando character, and I'm looking forward to seeing more Lando in the Disney Plus series. I love Billy D as him as well as Donald Glover. But Han Solo is just the man. He's got the moves. He has the best line in Star Wars with two words, I know. And he's just the scoundrel that you love. And and we explored this in the Solo film as well, that even though he puts on that kind of tough guy, bad guy, outlaw front, he's really the good guy. So yeah, I gotta go with Han Solo.
Nice. Nicole.
I love the Nerf herder. I'm going with Han Solo. Han Solo is the scoundrel. He's the rebel. I absolutely love him. I think if I was the male form, probably would be more like him. Like, just it's chance to take the risk.
Yeah.
Don't do is what they're trying to tell you to do. Like, that would be me. So Han Solo, although I love Lando, I think Lando has. I can't wait because I think we're going to get a lot more character, and this question's probably going to be harder come in 1 year, 2 years.
Exactly.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but Han.
Sean, what about you?
Yeah, so concur. It's going to be Han, and here's the basic reason why. When you look at the sequel trilogy, who were you more excited to see? Han Solo or Lando? Like, sorry, Lando's character didn't really do it for me. Kind of was just like, yeah, we're gonna shoehorn him in and just be like, he's back. They could have developed that character more throughout the three, but they didn't.
Somehow,
but it was both amazing and devastating to have Han Solo there and then not. So you got to go with them. Classic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Han for me too. For every reason that you guys mentioned. So since I don't have to say anything about Han, I'll just say Lando is awesome. He wears capes, and he's got a weird thing with droids, but that's okay.
If we don't get a Cape Crusade episode, I'm mad. That's it.
I like it.
Yeah, we got to see where he buys those capes.
So
it's got to be part of it.
This next one's a little odd, but we'll go with it. Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan. So this is almost a light side, dark side question. For me, it's Obi-Wan. I have to go with Obi-Wan. I don't know if it's just for me that I usually like I usually like light side stuff versus dark side stuff, and I've already talked about how much I loved Obi-Wan as a character. So for me, it's Obi-Wan, and that's weird because Darth Vader is such an amazing villain. But yeah, it's gotta be Obi-Wan. Let's go with Sean. Next.
Okay. So when I was developing my very fancy new name, I didn't put Obi-Wan's face in the background of my icon. I put Darth Vader's face because that's the icon you think about, in my opinion, when you think of Star Wars, because it is international. It's worldwide. You show two things, probably going to know one before the other just off of first impression. I mean, there was a point in Fallen Order, and that's right. Now I'm going to bring in games where, if you haven't played it, sorry. But there's a point where he's holding back water, and you're like, he's machine, so he's probably going to electrocute himself if he doesn't hold back the ocean.
He might rust.
This is kind of a big deal. And the second part is like when sometime in the comics, I forget the last Star Wars, he's coming into a system, and there's like 3 squadrons kind of doing some battle test flight. and they're like, "Oh, a single Empire ship," and they're like, "Oh, we should probably take him down." And they start shooting missiles at him. They recognize the ship signature, and he just turns all the missiles back at them with his hand. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I think it was Vader Down, if I remember correctly. I think that's the comic
Okay.
series was Vader Down. It was great. Come on. Love
Nice.
it.
Nicole, how about you?
Well, as much as I am for the light side of the Force,
Uh-huh.
it's Vader.
Oh.
It's 100% Vader.
Nice.
He's iconic. He's
Yeah.
always going to be the icon. 100 years from now, people are going to be like Vader. And
Yeah.
just from the original movies to the new movies to the future movies that's coming, I have a feeling it's just Vader.
Like it. Josh.
Yeah, I can't go against who I think is the greatest villain of all time. With Darth Vader, I got to go Darth 2 for all the reasons you guys said, and I love Obi-Wan, but I got to go with Vader here. And Brittany
Okay.
went with Obi-Wan. She went with the light side of the Force on this one.
Nice. So did Megan, went with light side of the Force, and she said because she's light side all the way and just sarcastic and snippy as him. So next up, we're staying solely dark side here, and we got Palpatine and Snoke. Let's see here. Megan. Yeah, we'll start with Megan. She says Palpatine because he was the one that manipulated everything from the beginning. Even if you're a good light side type person like me, you still have to admire the guy's genius. Nicole, how about you go ahead?
I'm in agreement with Megan. When I saw that question earlier, I was like, oh, it's Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Snoke was his puppet. He was the puppeteer. He took and did things that nobody else did. So for that, it's definitely Palpatine. Or because when I watched the Rise of Skywalker trailer for the first time, hearing his laugh, I knew it was him. And I knew what that meant. And it set it up for what I knew what was coming, that he was coming back. And, again, he's still one of the best villains. Good thing this is probably not Vader versus Palpatine question. Let's put it that way. So,
Very cool. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, you can't really go against the mastermind. I'm certainly excited to see, when we enter Phantom Menace, things are rolling already. Yeah. Many years have passed, and it's already in process.
Yeah.
I hope the Acolyte covers that in some way, shape, or form. The Disney Plus.
That would be
something along the lines of, hey, we have this great plan. I wonder if it'll work.
Right.
And it's just his smile, like young Palpatine, and Acolyte ends. And like that one, yes, give me all of that. Palpatine, without question.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys on
this is
on
be a run,
Palpatine, and I will say I love the Snoke of the Last Jedi. I think, just visually, he in the way that he was so visceral in the Last Jedi, and just the way that he treated Kylo Ren was just vicious, and I loved that version of Snoke in the Last Jedi, but Palpatine is the mastermind. I love the original trilogy Palpatine the most. Because we don't even we just hear about him in A New Hope, and then we see him in a hologram in The Empire Strikes Back, and then we get the full reveal of Return of the Jedi, and he's just terrifying. And he's part of that final confrontation that I love in the throne room. So yeah, I got to go Palpatine, and Brittany was with me on that one. She went with Palpatine.
Yeah, I mean Palpatine for me too. Same reason that you guys said. I think for me, Snoke was gaining that momentum, and then since you mentioned Last Jedi, I'll talk about it. I think his exit in Last Jedi really kind of hurt that. I mean, he was the baddie, and we wanted to know more about him. We wanted to know where he came from. Who is he? What's going on with this guy? And then he's just gone. And I think that hurt a good bit. So, yeah, for me, Palpatine for sure. This next one might be pretty tough. Padme and Leia. I'll go ahead, Josh. Why don't you start with Brittany, and we'll give Nicole and Sean a little bit of time to marinate on that one.
Brittany went with Leia,
Okay.
and I'm with her again on this one. I think, man, as much as I do enjoy the Padme character, I have nothing against that character. I just think Leia is just the embodiment of the strong female character, and that was present, even in the late 70s, and she didn't take anybody's crap, and she didn't need any guys to rescue her. She was doing the rescuing, and everything. So, I just love that character, and I loved her in the original trilogy. I loved her in the sequel trilogy. The Last Jedi was a great performance from Carrie Fisher. And yeah, I love Leia. So
Nice. How about Nicole? Shoot it over to you.
So this was a tough one for me because
Yeah.
they are both two strong female characters that I really do respect. I love the Queen's Shadow and Queen's Pearl, and I love Leia and the books that go with Leia too. But I have to kind of go with Leia. It's not by much, just because she's, again, iconic, and she is the original, like, rebel scum princess, where, like, she's what really kind of started it all off for the rest of the strong female characters that were to come. So this one, gonna have to go with Leia.
Alrighty, Sean.
Oh boy. Man. So 10-year-old me sitting in the theater at Phantom Menace wants to say Natalie Portman. But I have to take Crush me out of the equation. So I'm really having a tough time separating that from character to person, because Attack of the Clones was like, I know it's a terrible movie, but not when you're 12.
Yeah,
Great movie. Great movie. The romance, you don't know anything about romance at 12.
Yeah.
So whatever's on screen is truth. And I want to say Padme, and I'm going to say Padme for this, for that reason. That, in new canon outside of Bloodline, there's not much about Leia we know about. There's a lot of time between, is she only good at wars? What about non-war situation? She had a terrible political career in Bloodline. She was laughed off the floor. She didn't really get anything done.
Yeah, after
she
this,
did wear
after
a
the
Vader
secrets
cape,
about
which
Vader
I found to be
out.
very fun.
Yeah, after the
when
secrets
they
about
found
Vader
out,
came out, she
but like
crashed and burned.
Padme got stuff done. She was a negotiator, and even if it was aggressive, So during her time, we got a lot of Padme, and it's you're sad. You knew she was going to die, but you were sad that she was dying too at the same time. And then I know just in the recent click of Vader comics, they like dropped at Padme's back and were like, "Whoa, no, she died," and it was a handmaiden. So I was like, you know what? The whole storyline of Padme and the handmaidens, and then of course Queen's Peril and Shadow, was building that lore back up. Filling in a lot of the gaps, and I think we're missing stuff with Leia right now. No.
Yeah.
I mean, she sent her kid away to boarding school, apparently. Couldn't handle it anymore. Anyway, I'll go with Padme. It won't be different.
I'm glad you did.
But I like your reasonings.
I'm glad you did that, though, Sean, because if you didn't do that, I was actually going to do that, which means now I can go Leia.
Okay, fair.
But no, seriously, Padme, it's so hard to go against her. And I think it's almost what era in Star Wars you grew up in, like for me, I really grew up with the originals. There's so many people out there now that grew up with the prequels. Their first introduction to these things was like the Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones or even Clone Wars or stuff like that. I think that changes that answer. Between who you were introduced to first, almost. Like this isn't Star Wars, but Star Trek for me. my favorite captains are the ones that I watched first, which were like Picard and all those guys. So I think it's kind of the same with this. Whoever you grew up with, I think that's kind of where you land on this one.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you brought that up.
Jango Fett and Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
Where?
I'll start with Megan on this one. She goes with Boba Fett, thanks to the animated Clone Wars, and then now Mando. She knows more about him than she knows about Jango, so that familiarity, helps her land on Boba's side. And for me, I'm going Boba as well. Mandalorian just put me over the edge on Boba. I was not a Boba Fett fan in any way prior to like December, I guess. But now, totally changed my mind. I'm totally on board with Boba Fett, and very much on board with the book of Boba Fett. I'm ready for this. So for me, it's Boba Fett. Let's go with Sean.
So I threw in. Some people are joining in, so I keep throwing in the stuff into chat. And one of our watchers here, Mick Full. By the way, you're live. I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind it.
I brought your faces into my Twitch stream.
Yeah, I like it.
It's all good.
So, welcome, Nicole.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Cool. And he's a very good Apex player. He goes with Boba. Okay, Boba right there. And then for me is Boba as well. Not that I don't like Jango, but sorry, when Robert Rodriguez got his hands on it, and he first off, no one, again, another character that we don't really know about that lore was created for. I know he was very difficult to defeat in Shadows of the Empire on N64, which makes it nearly impossible to beat. And then he comes out of nowhere and just rips nonstop, and it was awesome. There's nothing. It's great. Is it redemption? I guess so, for his storyline. In a way, like I'm Boba.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Nicole.
Adam, did you say my name? Because I can't hear you.
Am I messed up again?
Audio went dead.
All right, give me one sec. All right, how about that?
You're back.
Yeah, you're back. All right.
This
Maybe we
voice
should
meter.
add some Tusken Raider like sign language here.
Maybe.
Just a thought.
We know the one
I'm
for
ready.
kill.
I'm using I'm using that voice meter banana virtual mixer, and it seems to just be crapping out on me so much. All right, so Sean went Boba. All right, go ahead, Nicole.
Oh, Boba Fett, all the way. I think even from the original one, we first see Boba Fett, again, just a mysterious Mandalorian. We didn't know much about him, but now we actually see him in The Mandalorian, and everything has just changed. And I just feel like we know his story a lot more, and he's really grown as a character. And now I'm like, the Book of Boba Fett, am I going to like him or am I going to hate him? I'm kind of a little nervous because I feel like we got to see a lot of the good side at the end of The Mandalorian. And now I'm like, I don't want to not like you anymore. So Boba Fett all the way.
Nice. Josh?
Or This Is the Way. One of the two.
Yeah. So I got to be honest here. Jango Fett is a smug SOB. I never liked him. Actually, my happiest moment in Attack of the Clones was when Mace Windu just slices his head off with that purple lightsaber that I love so much.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got to go Boba Fett. I always thought Boba was cool. He's a cool character. I wasn't in love with the character or anything ever, but at least he was cool and not a smug SOB. So I'm going Boba Fett, and Brittany did too.
Fair enough. Oh man,
I love it.
So This is another one of those that might be a little bit challenging. Anakin and Luke, father versus son. Josh, go for it.
Yeah, this one for me is really easy because Luke Skywalker is my favorite character probably of all time. My favorite hero, pretty much an idol of mine growing up and everything. So, I got to go with Luke, and Luke is slightly less whiny than Anakin. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Luke, and Brittany went with Luke also.
Anakin has his share of whininess, and Luke does too.
Yeah.
Must
Like
be
father,
like
must
son.
be a
Family.
family thing. Yeah, it must be a
Mhm.
family thing. I agree. Yeah. Nicole, go ahead.
Oh, this was probably one of the hardest ones I saw in there
Yeah.
because I love the character development with Anakin. And I love the character development with Luke Skywalker. It's like a dead heat, It's just one of those, or it's like they're almost crossing the finish line together.
There's
You
so
know,
much to relate to in
but
both characters.
him turning into Vader just kind of pushes it just a little bit. So I'm gonna have to go with Anakin.
Okay,
But it's like it by a smidge.
I like it.
But for really good reasons because I love them both. It's just
No, I like it.
yeah, and because I think I'm kind of like Padme. I think I see the good in Anakin,
Right.
and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you can go back
He's
to the
that
good side.
character that
Like I feel like
right.
I'm one when I meet people, like I can always look for hope, or if they're in a troubling situation, like I'm trying to bring them hope. So it's Anakin.
I like it.
I wish he would have went back to the good side.
He did.
I know, but it's like Kylo. It's like Ben Solo, right at the. I know. I see Sean's face. It's right at that end where you're like, you get them for a few seconds and then they're gone.
Doesn't count if the galaxy doesn't know about it. Sorry.
Hey, it doesn't count if we don't see the body.
That's right. Agree.
What do you got, Sean?
Okay,
What
so
if we're the galaxy?
that is fair. Yeah. I mean, we're on Orion's belt in Men in Black, so just remember that.
We might be. You never know these days.
I'm telling you. So I have a chatter in here from an autistic point of view. And,
Megan.
Megan.
And
That's not Megan.
So that's Megan. Hi, Megan.
Her popping in
And
the
she's Nicole. Could you put Grogu down? It's making me miss mine at home. We have a request.
No, because then she's going to have to see him again.
Yeah. So McFall, my friend McFall says Anakin because he was my intro into Star Wars. So that's cool. I have to go with Luke because there is a fair I don't even have to explain it, but there is a fair chance that if I have a boy, if my wife has a boy, that the name will be Luke. Literally for all the reasons of Star Wars. That's it. I mean, I have a strong first name, really strong last name. I got a 3-syllable last name, so it has to be like a single syllable, and it just makes sense for all of the themes. I still have my 9th grade Star Wars: A New Hope summary paper. Still have it. It's in like a little folder. I should read it out on podcast one day. That would be really funny.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, it's got to be Luke. Got to be Luke.
Yeah, it's gotta be Luke for me too. Favorite, I love Luke. I'm almost defensive of that character, where I'm not with Anakin. I love Anakin. I love his story for different reasons. And still, especially more so after the prequels. Even with how the prequels have been, talked about. Until recently, where they've been gaining a lot more appreciation, but. Getting more of Anakin's backstory, you want to root for him more, especially in 4, 5, and 6. But for me, it's still Luke. Luke is the hero, the one that you want to strive to be like. So for me, it's Luke. All right, we got some droids next. R2-D2 and BB-8. So I'll start this one because I'm gonna go a different route. I love BB-8. I love BB-8's personality. I love the voicing's a little bit different. I love the uniqueness of the ball. The rolling ball. I love everything about BB-8, and I love R2 also. He's the original. He's been there since first scene day one. But I love so much about BB-8. I think he's a perfect addition for a droid. So I'm gonna go with BB-8 on this one. Megan says R2, since we've known him longer, he's the original. If you would put R2 against 3PO, that would have been a lot more difficult, if not impossible. So she's going with R2. And I think I forgot to give her an answer for Anakin versus Luke. But she said she said she wants to say Luke. But she thinks Anakin has more of an influence on the overall Star Wars story plot. Character-wise, she says Luke. Story-wise, she says Anakin. I put her down for Anakin on that one since it sounded like she was leaning more towards Anakin. So, Anakin for her on that one. R2 on R2-D2 versus BB-8. So, Josh, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said BB-8 because I was scared that I was going to be the only one who said that, and then I would get just annihilated. But yeah, I mean, I love R2, but BB-8 is one of my favorite things about The Force Awakens. And I also just the expressions, the movement, everything about BB-8, I just really fell in love with watching that movie. He just became an instant favorite droid for me. So yeah, as hard as it is to go against R2-D2, yeah, I would go with BB-8 as well. And Brittany did too. So
nice. Nicole?
Well, bless my circuits. This is not C3PO or IG-11 because this would be a harder question. I'm right with Megan. This would be a lot harder because I love R2-D2. I've got behind me BB-8, and I've also got C3PO behind me. I've got them all, and it's a really hard question because I actually love droids, but I'm gonna have to go with original because I was excited at the end of The Mandalorian when all of a sudden he came out to protect this little guy, and you just you had this moment of, I think they might know each other because R2 would know everything. Yep. I'm gonna have to go with R2-D2. I'm gonna go with the original, even though if it was C3PO or IG-11, this would be a different conversation.
Very true. Sean,
we got a lot of chat. My chat is we have now 4 viewers. Oh my god, a lot of R2 love in the chat.
Nice.
It's understandable.
So let's look at his arc. No, let's look at the entire arc. Let's start from the beginning.
Let's look at his backstory.
I can tell you, I remember fondly the opening of Revenge, and when he oils the droids and sets them on fire.
I still love that scene. I think that's a lot of
roar in the crowd was.
Yeah.
I remember this.
I remember
incredible.
That too. Yeah.
2005. That puts me as a junior in high school. Womp womp. Sorry, and that's awesome. And it's R2 is just so OP. It's ridiculous. I hated him in actually A New Hope in the beginning, just because the whole desert scene for me is ridiculous. I just think it's too long. But
yeah,
I mean, BB-8 is so endearing. Looking at Star Wars through my daughter's eyes, who's R2?
It's all
that's
about
just
BB-8. For my daughter too.
She's
yeah.
BB. She's BB right. Kate. That's her moniker.
I love
BB-8
it.
Lego is back there. What a wonderful build. Yeah. But I think when we got to push the story forward, I got to go with BB-8.
Ooh.
I know that's nice. A swerve, but I really like BB-8. I like the design. I like the personality. I mean, when he does the thumbs up to Finn, I mean, unbelievable hilarity, shocking him. What a droid. He's a ball of fun.
Sean, you took me on a road there where I was thinking you were going R2 the whole way, and then right at the end, BB-8 swerve right at the end.
I love it.
I loved it. That was great. All right. Let's see here. We are
Now,
out.
the rest of these, I don't think were on the list. These were not on the list.
These are not on the list, so we're into lightning round stuff now. These are ones that we kind of added here. So, this first one's gonna be probably pretty easy. Yoda versus Grogu. So let's go for it. I'm Grogu. I know that Megan is Grogu as well. I'm trying to find her answer real quick. Yoda can talk, and Yoda is funnier, but Grogu is cuter. Grogu is cuter. If pushed, as this question is making me do, I'd have to go Grogu. Sorry, Yoda. It's just, have you seen Grogu? She hugs her plush that she got for Christmas. So she's going for Grogu as well. Sean.
How dare you put this question in? How dare you? It's Yoda. And the reason why it's Yoda is because there was so much to celebrate when he makes his episode 9 debut. And I was super duper excited for it. And the theming of it was wonderful. And, when Ahsoka, that nice lady, mentions his name, you get the little Ludwig puts in the little Yoda theme into it, and it's iconic.
Mhm.
It's similarly iconic to Vader. Grogu, you got a lot of growing up to do. Listen,
Come back in a few years, kid.
he's a Gen Zer, he's an influencer right now. He's
Yeah.
making a lot of money.
He's cocky.
But will it
Yeah.
last? Will it last the length of Yoda's career? Literally, Yoda died because he was getting asked way too many questions from a teenager. That's it. That's the only reason. He's the classic teacher that was like, "Can we just pick this up tomorrow?" And then he died because he had enough. But he's 50. Yoda's 900, and I'm actually really curious about Yoda in the High Republic. That's going to be real interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
I don't know if my comic guy knew what I was talking about. I was like, "Do you have the IDW series?" And he's like, "They're all sold out." I don't think they were sold. I don't think he knows what I'm talking about. But he's got his group of younglings. He's just going around doing adventures. Like, what is he like? That's what I'm curious about. So, gotta be Yoda. Like Grogu, your time will come.
I love it. Nicole.
I am with Sean. I am like, how dare you moment. This is mean. Because
Sorry
really,
about that, guys.
because I love Yoda's wisdom.
Yeah.
Like, and it's something I use like almost on a daily basis is his wisdom. And I really can't wait for, we see a little bit in Charles Soule's, the light of the Jedi, but I can't wait for us to find out more. But at the same time, we got Grogu, who is so cute and adorable, and he pulls my heart. And if anybody who knows in watch parties, especially Adam, every time that child coos, I am dying on the floor. Or if someone's being mean to him, I am the one that is about to come through that screen and take down whoever it is. That is me. So man, I thought the questions earlier were harder. This is like the meanest one. Oh, and I'm holding him, and I've got like the shirt. It's like, wait a minute, but you know what?
I know. I thought
If
you
it
were.
wasn't
I
for
honestly
Yoda-
thought you were Grogu, like right off the bat. I really did.
Expect. But you know what? If it wasn't for Yoda,
Yeah.
would we have Grogu?
No.
Probably not. I'm really having a hard time. I feel like I'm split, and you guys are
I
like
think
putting
Yaddle
me
is
in
actually
like
the
the
most
cheerleading
influential one.
sports position. Say what?
Is Yoda your final answer?
I think Yaddle is actually the most influential of the three.
Right? Where's your Yaddle question, huh? Oh, I feel like I'm doing the splits right now, you guys, because I'm 100% split. It's like 50% cuteness and coos and what's to come with 50% wisdom.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
I know. Can I just take a banana split instead?
Ooh.
I'm gonna make you pick
Listen,
one.
we deal in
I'm
absolutes.
gonna
here.
make you pick
Sorry.
one. Yeah, this is a Sith game.
No more cheesecake for you in the corner. You know what I'm talking about.
How about this? How about this?
I'm gonna say by just maybe a split hair. It's probably gonna be Yoda, just because if it
Okay.
wasn't for him, we wouldn't have Grogu.
I'm
But
very surprised.
but it's only by like a half.
Okay. I'll
And no more
I'll put an asterisk by that. Josh.
Yeah, this is the hardest question on here, and I don't even know why I added this. That was a horrible mistake. I can immediately regret my decision.
So this is from you.
Yeah, this is Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Josh.
all me. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, Yoda is they're both one of my favorite characters in any Star Wars ever. So, but some of my favorite scenes when I think of Star Wars, I think of Yoda training Luke. So, I got to go with Yoda.
We're getting an update from Megan here.
I would like to make a special
Nicole,
note because people technically call him Baby Yoda. That can't be part of the equation. Can it?
Oh my!
Just saying, because then he wins.
Look at you.
Megan says Nicole makes a great point. I'm changing to Yoda as well. No, Yoda. No, Grogu. Difficult choice.
Josh, you maybe have tell Adam.
Where were
no more cheesecake?
Where were your yours and Brittany's? Where were yours again?
Mine was Yoda. Brittany didn't do any of these lightning ones because I added them later.
Right. So I am going to go with Grogu on this for this reason. I love Yoda as well.
Yeah.
Nicole mentions, the wisdom. I love that too. I am just really excited for where Grogu's story could lead. I think his role is only going to grow as we get farther from this. He's not going to die in Luke's temple. Kylo Ren's not going to kill him.
No.
I think he is almost central to Star Wars story going forward post Rise of Skywalker, and I think we're going to see that a lot more.
Here.
I
want both.
I mean, let's be honest. This is the character in the show that brought the Star Wars fan base back together, pretty much. So, you make a good point.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Grogu. He
stands for unity.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, even ends with a U. Just like, All right, next question is Porgs versus Ewoks. And for me, I go with Ewoks. I love Ewoks. I've loved Ewoks since I first saw them in Return of the Jedi. I actually was befuddled when I learned that people didn't like Ewoks. How dare they? So, yeah, no, I'm going from a certain point of view. How dare you have that point of view? I'm actually going with Ewoks on this one. Josh.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I enjoyed the Porgs of The Last Jedi, I got to go with the Murder Bears on this one. They took care of business on Endor. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd never had an issue with Ewoks. I always enjoyed them as well. So I got to go with the Ewoks.
Awesome. Megan is going with Porgs, and her answer is that David, Sam, and Nate over at the Tatooine Sons podcast would roast her alive if she didn't pick Porgs. So ever since they named the Porg that's on the Millennium Falcon, they've had a thing for Porgs. Being a friend of theirs, and when given this choice, she has to go with Porgs. She likes Ewoks. They're cute, murdering teddy bears, but in the end, she's going Porg. Nicole, how about you?
Ewoks. I mean, I love Porgs. This is not as hard as the question as the last question, which, Grogu, Yoda. But I don't know. There's something about Ewoks and knowing that I love the Ewoks. It's a really interesting character. They are there in the Battle of Endor, and that says a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Ewoks.
Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the question was which one would we rather roast over an open flame, my answer might be different. But
Well, I hear they taste like
but yeah,
chicken.
I don't know. It's not even a comparison. One actually, like, they can have language, and then the others just fly away when petrified. So it's got to be Ewoks. I understand. Like, imagine Return of the Jedi coming out today, and they had Ewoks, and oh my god, it would just be completely that's the best idea they could have come up with. And guess what? It was because they were cute and cuddly, Care Bear. All of a sudden, what you think they are, now they're like kind of smart and trapping ATSTs, which were very difficult to get down. I mean, look at how much terror, look how much terror the people of Sorgan went through with an ATST, a singular ATST coming out of the woods. They took them down. So the Ewoks are better than the people of Sorgan, making spotchka. Ewoks for the win.
Fair enough. For the win.
I think that's a pretty even comparison, to be honest. I like that. That I didn't think about it that way. That's cool. All right, back to sequel trilogy. Rey, Finn, and Poe. This is a threefer.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This, that, or the other.
You're pulling apart the trio?
Yeah. Pick one. Megan
back
goes
that
with
trio.
Poe all the way because she loves his sass at the beginning of Last Jedi. It's the exact thing I would do if she was that clever, smart / bold. So Megan's going with Poe. I'm actually going to go with Rey on this one. I love Rey. I've loved Rey since the moment we met her. With that musical introduction to her in Force Awakens. Beautiful score for her from John Williams. And since that moment and seeing her slide down the sand, just was totally invested in that character from the first time I saw her. And I personally love where her story went through the sequels. I love where it ended. So for all those reasons, I go with Rey. Josh, how about we kick it to you?
Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. I completely agree. I love Finn, I love Poe, but I love Rey's journey. I love her, even like Adam said, from the beginning moments of The Force Awakens, just the introduction to her character, her character arc, and everything where it goes. So, yeah, I'm with you, Rey.
Nice. Sean.
Adam and I have had very many words about the rise of Skywalker in our R5 chat. We don't need to rip open old wounds, but I will go with Rey for everything except the Palpatine stuff, in which I think that was Bantha Poodoo and poor sport.
Yeah.
But when you just take
Fair
this, when you take the Rey character as is the hopeful survivor, once again, I look at it through the eyes of the daughter. She knows Rey. She spotted Rey in the comic book store today, like underneath a box next to Rey. I'm like, yes, it is. So that's what Rey's character did for children today. And along the lines of her skill, and yet listen, the Mary Sue stuff. Stop. It's a story. It's a character. It's somebody made this up in their brain, and it's okay to have these extraordinary characteristics, or they wouldn't be fun to talk about. So Rey is a good character, and out of the three, if I had to choose one, it's going to be our main for sure.
Yeah. Just to add something real quick to what you said there about your daughter, but my daughter, when she, She was born in 2014. So she's like, I want to say 2 or 3. We got this book called 5-Minute Star Wars Stories, and we would read that before bed.
Mm-hmm.
And she always wanted to read the Rey and BB-8 story. That's the one that she gravitated towards. So, what you said is spot on. For kids of this generation, my little girl included, she likes Rey. So that
mine as well. Yep.
Nicole.
Well, as much as I enjoy Poe and Finn for different reasons, because they are great characters, great pilot, great. Hey, Finn changed his life around. He left being a stormtrooper and went towards the Force, which you have to admit that's awesome. I mean, it is. It's awesome. And then he took down Phasma. Hello, that's a big part. But I'm with you guys. I am going to actually go with my family middle name, which is Rey, which runs in our family. Because I
Is it
love
really?
Rey.
That's awesome.
It's just so.
Nice.
I know it is. It is Rey's family middle name. Anyways, but I have to go with that because she really does. We have lots of character development. I'm like you, Josh. I love her journey. I love her taking different paths. I love the fact that we got to see her struggle. Like, are we going to go the light side? Are we going to go on the dark side? Struggling of who am I? We all struggle with who am I in our lives. So I just love that I can understand her because of that struggle that she has, or as we're growing up as, young adults into older adults and we're like, which way do we go? We have the same kind of struggles. So for that reason, Rey. And she's a badass. Can we just, she really is.
Yep.
She really does
She is.
come into that character when she finally embraces it. She is.
Like it. I like it a lot. All right, Josh, I'm going to make an executive decision on this. I'm going to drop Django out of this next one because Django got obliterated.
That's a great decision.
on the last one. So
that's smug character.
Yeah. So we're going to drop
Mace
that.
Windu took care of him.
We're going to drop that
smoothly.
smug SOB out of this next one, and we have the 3 main Mandalorians: Boba Fett. Well, minus Django. Boba Fett and Mando is the next one. So Din Djarin and Boba Fett. Nicole, go.
Well, this is a good time to bring back in Grogu because I still am in a split with the question still earlier. Thanks, Josh. So I'm going to go with who I knew Grogu would pick, which is Din Djarin. I'm so excited to see what's going to come of The Mandalorian. I'm excited that we're seeing, when I first watched it, I remember thinking, is this a villain or is this going to be the good side? I didn't know. And I love that he grew and we're like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love him. And I love that he's making these different decisions. I'm glad that this little guy, Grogu, is just capturing his heart and he's changing before our eyes. And I love seeing people go to the good side, just like wished Anakin to the good side. So I'm gonna go with Grogu's answer, which is Din Djarin. Because nobody puts anything beyond his daddy, Yeah. Mando did all the way.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's go, Sean.
Okay. It's gonna be Din for sure. The character development, just from start to finish, everything Nicole said, but I'll add in just a little snippet, a quote from the little golden book called
Who's a parent here?
The Mandalorian, This Is the Way. It's a 9 or 10 pages, whatever the little golden book is. And it literally says, well, it's going to be a paraphrase because I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it brings in the essence of, and the child healed his lonely heart.
Oh,
it's like word
Little
for word.
Golden Book is hitting hard, man.
That's heavy. And the next page, they became a family. This is the way. I'm done. That's I'm done.
Wow.
That's what it is. I mean, it's over. And that's it. And that book is a representation of season 1. Like in my brain, like I'm not getting that deepness from season 1 just yet. Like, the care. You get that in season 2 heavy. But I'm like, that kind of changes perspectives of season 1 deep character
Wow.
development.
Yeah, it is.
For sure.
Mike
Din
is
Boba, again, hey, men, you just came back here, relax, have a drink, maybe order an appetizer. We're going to get you in a minute. But right now, it's Din.
Am I gonna have to start reading Little Golden
And
books?
if I can add in or quick thing, he is the dad Alorian. He really does give us a really good father figure. Okay, other than Senator Organa, but we don't get to really see Vale in that perspective. Really,
Mhm.
you can only read about it.
Right.
So yes, Din for Dad Alorian of the year of possibly the decade.
Yeah. Gosh. Din Boba.
Yeah, well, my wife, made me a Dadalorian shirt. I have 3 total like Mandalorian shirts. It's Mando all the way. I went from this being a show and a character that I wasn't particularly interested in. And then in season 1, it became a show that I really, really, really enjoyed. And then season 2, it became a character and a show that I fell in love with and became obsessed with. So, yeah, I mean, I gotta go. I gotta go with Mando on this one.
Megan's with you. She starts talking, about how Boba is, kicking butt. He's, on the throne in Tatooine now. But Mando, he has the dark saber now. She's just pulled more towards Mando. His protectiveness of Grogu. Seeing his face in that last episode, he abandoned his creed that he held to his entire life. Actually, she says, quote, he freaking abandoned his creed that he held to his entire life. So she's clearly going with Mando, with Din Djarin on this one. I'm going to go Boba Fett. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going Din.
You got me. I almost played a sounder through Twitch just to make it like ridiculous.
Yeah, no,
you were about to
Din.
pull a Sean on that one.
Yeah, I should have just strung a yarn for a little while and then just went Din at the end. Okay, we are on our last question. We have Darth Vader versus Thanos.
Okay, can I say something real quick about this one?
Go for it, Josh.
Because I see a lot of like,
is
I see
Josh's idea.
Nicole's face and she's like, "What? This is a Josh question." Just
Yes.
saying. I have my Avengers shirt on right now. I'm a big Marvel fan, and there's been this kind of thing going on where Darth Vader is one of the greatest villains ever, and then a lot of people feel Thanos is maybe an equally great villain. So I thought, who can we even put up against Darth Vader? Because Darth Vader is going to win every time. So I threw Thanos in there, who is the villain in Marvel versus the villain of Star Wars, which are 2 big franchises right now. So, yeah, so that's why I threw that in there.
And I'll start this with Megan's answer, and she says this is where it really gets interesting. The last question, so like, save the interesting one for last, I guess. But she says Darth Vader's been around, for a lot longer. But Thanos killed off, and she's yelling again, half the Criffing galaxy. Being a massive Star Wars fan, she's pulled towards Darth Vader, but she thinks that Thanos is actually a better villain overall. And she's having trouble betraying her Star Wars fandom and going with Thanos. But she's actually going with Thanos in the end. So what's a point for Thanos? Josh, how about you? Go ahead and weigh in here.
Yeah,
okay,
I probably should have thought about
Megan's
this.
clarifying, and she's not yelling; she's stressing. So I'll give her that. Go for it, Josh.
I think Thanos is a terrific villain. I think best villain in Marvel for me, for sure. The way it all builds up to that big showdown in Infinity War and then Endgame. I think his presence is just daunting and elevates the stakes every time he's on screen. But yeah, I mean, I got to go with Vader. Just because in my mind he's the greatest villain of all time. Yeah, Vader it is.
Fair enough. Sean, how about you?
Quite a question. Quite a question. I had this debate, not that debate. We had, we do the scenarios with my buddies, and it's like, all right, you drop Darth Vader into our world today. Can he effectively take down the world? And we kind of go through we went through different scenarios and stuff like that, and whatever. However, it took, I don't know the math, and you're gonna have to help me, Josh, since seems to be the MCU expert. But 1 in 16 million scenarios that had them winning. 1.
Yeah, it was one out of a very, very high number.
Right.
I don't remember the exact ratio.
And to take down Thanos, who, I mean, a good villain. I guess a good villain. You go, I don't know how they're going to beat them. Like while you're watching the movie, you go, I don't really know how they're going to get their way out of this. And the ending of Infinity War into Endgame, with the somberness and like, oh, it's over. Okay. And chance and luck and hope and planning and sacrifice took Thanos down. You know what took Vader down? Sentiment. That's my Palpatine. That's it. That's what you get. Thanos for the.
You're overstating it a little bit because the odds were 14,605,000.
Oh. I just hit my record.
Snap!
Yeah. I just hit my record scratch on my sound deck. Let me reverse.
Okay, so Sean's going with Thanos, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Nicole.
This is a hard question because if we were just talking to MCU, just Marvel, but because we're going Star Wars versus Marvel because somebody gave us another hard question, not naming Josh. I'm going to have to go with the icon, though. I'm going to have to go with my love of Vader because he's just iconic. Again, when you think of Star Wars, you think of him. And also because, I mean, I know that the comics with Marvel, with who kills even Thanos in the end, is actually different than what it is in the movies and stuff. And I don't know. Something just tells me it's gotta be Vader. He's iconic. There's something about him and his ways and what he does, and I don't know. It's like I love to hate him.
Nice. So Nicole's going Vader. For me, this question depends on how I approach it. Because
exactly,
I don't think if you're looking at it in like a fictional world, if you're doing like in-world stuff, or like Sean said, if you bring these guys into our world, I don't know that Vader could stop Thanos with 5 Infinity Stones or whatever,
No,
probably
not.
all Thanos has to do is snap his fingers and Vader's gone, right? I don't know that there's a force power to counteract that, So if you're looking at it in that sense, then I would go Thanos. But for me, as far as like villains, I'm more pulled towards Vader. Josh mentioned he's the best villain of all time. I think that's probably true for me. I can't think of a single villain that I would put above Vader. Seeing him for that first time in all black, seeing him come back in Rebels. Actually, Rebels for me, seeing that red lightsaber light up in Rebels was terrifying in itself. It's got to be Vader for me. So yeah, I'm going Vader.
Ooh. Your audio died again.
Oh, we lost you again.
So I will while you're fixing that, I will hearken onto that. But yes, I agree. I think if you take the Infinity Stones away, I think you have. Right. If it was a physical fight, Thanos probably has it. But if he has the Force, he's throwing objects at you. He's sort of manipulating you that way. I think you're on to something. I think I know where you're going.
How far back did I cut out?
Yeah, I'd like to throw in that I do wonder that if Vader, because Vader has the Force, could he actually use the Force to take away the Infinity Stones, to take away his powers in a new way? And he could really, again, I agree with you that he could manipulate the situation completely.
Am I back? Or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How far?
Yes.
How far
Yay.
along did I get? Far along did I get before I cut out?
I tried to fill in the gap of what I was saying with what based off of what you were saying. If that helps.
Well, I'm just thinking so I can re-record whatever I was saying. Do you remember the last thing that I said before I was gone?
Sorry, question marks are above my brain. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I think you need to add question marks to the page right
All
now.
All right, let me just start again. So, I got backtrack in my head. All right. So for me, I think this question kind of depends on where where I go with it. Like if you're bringing, kind of like Sean said, if you're bringing them into like our world, or if you're talking like in their own fictional worlds, I think Thanos is probably stronger than Vader. Especially with all the Infinity Stones and all that. He just snaps his fingers, that type of thing, and Vader's, dust or whatever. He doesn't feel so good all of a sudden. Yeah. So if I go at it that way, I think it's Thanos. But for me, kind of like Josh said, I do think that Vader's the best villain of all time. Seeing him in Rebels, lighting up that lightsaber, it's terrifying. Seeing him in Rogue One, that hallway scene, terrifying. Just everything about Vader for me is iconic villain. Seeing him for that first time dressed in all black, it's iconic for me. I'm naturally, I think, inclined to go with Vader on this. So that's where I land. So that is our last question. Sean, do you have anybody left in chat? I saw Dave left, I think.
Yeah, Dave took he just got an Oculus Rift S.
Well, I imagine he's going to go play with
Very
it.
excited about it, so
Yeah.
I think he's going to go play.
Nice.
Mick Fall hasn't checked in a bit, so
Okay. So we have.
Can I add on to your Vader stuff? Can I do that? Do you
No.
mind? So I'm just going back to the hallway scene, and Vader in the OT was like, "I don't have time for you. Do what I need you to do. You're dead." Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, there's no negotiation. Like, that's awesome. But I remember when Thanos took down Hulk with like a throat chop, and you were like, "Oh, excuse me," like because you thought he had the upper hand. Like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be real quick, and he's like, "No,
Yeah.
throat chop. You're done too." And you're just like, that's kind of like the overpowered of Thanos. That just kind of reminded me, like the hallway scene in Rogue to Thanos throat chop Hulk was like similar in intensity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
For sure.
All right. So the results are in. Going all the way back to the top. Kylo Ren and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon tied 3-3. Kylo Ren and Darth Maul also tied. I was surprised by that one, 3-3.
Mm.
Han swept Lando 6-0. Darth Vader and Obi-Wan tied at 3.
Ooh.
Palpatine swept Snoke.
Mhm.
I saw that one coming. Leia beat Padme 5-1.
Who picked Padme?
I don't know. That's a good question. Boba Fett swept Jango Fett 6-0. Luke beat out Anakin 4-2. BB-8 beat out R2D2 4-2.
Wow, I'm shocked by that, to be honest. I thought I was going to be the only one.
I'm shocked by the next one. Yoda beat out Grogu 3-2. Ewoks
Also shocked.
Nobody tell him.
Ewoks handily beat out Porgs 4-1. Rey 4-1 to nothing over Finn and Poe. Mando swept Boba Fett, and Darth Vader edges out Thanos 3-2.
Nice.
So
nice.
there's your
Well,
Star
that was
Wars
a lot
this
of
or that.
fun.
Mm.
Thank
All right.
you guys for joining us for that this or that.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely.
Thank you for hosting.
No problem. And before we go, Nicole, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at?
Ooh. Okay, so I'm Nicole. You can find me on Twitter at Peace Love Star Wars. I also write for Twin Sons Outpost, as well as Peace Love Disney on Facebook. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. Sean?
Thanks for having me. Last minute, love joining this kind
Quite
of
welcome.
stuff. At Extra Techie on all the socials. We'll make it real simple. Host of another Star Wars podcast, formerly Star Wars by MRC Tech. And follow me on Twitch, YouTube. I'm 4 subscribers away on YouTube, so from 100. So if we could help me out a little bit.
Awesome.
I post ridiculous
Sub to this, man.
content. Like I'm gonna have a Facebook portal review coming down the pipeline where I read the terms of services because no one reads it. And I read it out loud. So I hope you enjoy that content because you need to know what your data is up to. But anyways, you can follow me.
I laugh, but you're 100% right on that. That's a great idea.
You know, I'm just going to speed it up a little bit and you can listen to where your data goes to China and whatever. And it's going to be
that's important.
Lots of fun. Thanks for having me, Josh and Adam.
You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Josh, why don't you let everyone know where Brittany can be found? Doing her blog.
She can be found on Twitter and on Instagram at the Bosch blog.
Nice. And Megan is, like we mentioned before, from an autistic point of view. Her blog can be found at should have had water. Her blog can be found at FromAnAutisticPointOfView.wordpress.com. So with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of From a Certain Point of View.